Yo, it's Zach Scandura here, and this is it. This is the final comic. This is number 50, Climb, the finale. And it's been 3 years, 7 months doing all of this, and that's around a fifth of my life. 18 and a half years. That's almost a fifth of my life. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. I never became hugely popular for any of the work I did. In terms of people who found out about me through my comic making, there's only like 3 or 4 of you, and you know, who stuck around. There's only about like 3 or 4 of you. But that didn't matter to me because the people who I did meet were great people. And you know, if I was doing this for popularity, it would not have lasted this long. But yeah, number 50. This, God, it's weird to talk about this. It's the ending, you know? But you know, it wasn't initially going to be the ending. This comic, I had this idea for number 50. I actually had this idea for a little while. It was never meant to be like the finale. I didn't even know it was going to be number 50. I just had it as an idea, this climbing thing. But yeah, I made it, and in the middle of sketching it, I was in an English class, not focusing on school because who cares? I passed the test. I passed the essays without reading the books. It's not that hard. School is easy when you change it to your own mindset instead of following what they tell you to do. Lesson from me, kids. But yeah, I was sketching it. I finished sketching it in English class, and then I realized. That's why, by the way, I started with the line art with the speed art, because I realized like half of it, the sketch is literally just like half of it I already did on paper. So like, why should I bother doing it? You know, why should I bother sketching it out, resketching it when I really like how parts of it looked already? But yeah, I finished it in English class, and I kind of, like, right at the end, right after I finished the sketch, I realized the final panel, when I sketched that panel, I realized, oh shit, this is the ending. This, like, it has to end like this. It's like, it's a 50-minute class. All the hours are 50 minutes. All the classes are 50 minutes, all 7 of them. And I just sat there for the second, like, 3/5, the half an hour. I just sat there, like, motionless. Because I was in a chair, just motionless, realizing, oh, this is it. This is the end. 3 years, 7 months, 3.5 years. That's the ending. And part of me felt bad, because I wanted to have this go for, like, exactly 4 years. But at another point, I think it's good to know when you need to end something, in terms of art. Because if you keep going on forever, it might not be good if you don't have it planned out. So I thought this was a good time to walk away. This was going to be the finale. And, you know, number 50. It's number 50, so that's not a bad number to go out on. But it was, you know, it was crazy. I tried to make it interpretable, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't want people to, you know, come with a definitive answer for it, if that made sense. Like, there's somewhat a definitive answer. It's obvious this is an uplifting message rather than a downfall. It's literally called Climb. Speaking of which, a good friend of mine, Desmond, when I was talking about that this next comic will be the final one, he was scared this was going to be a suicide note. And I told him, God, no. If anything, it's the opposite. I haven't been... if you guys know me, you know I've dealt with depression and anxiety for a large portion of my life. I don't want to go too in-depth with it. I want this to be a happy video. It'll get sad in the middle, because I do want to talk about 7th grade just for a bit. Just because I feel like some people were curious about it, if I would ever make a comic about it. I never really had the guts to. I realized I didn't know what I'd say, because there was so much to talk about. But, so I'll talk about it in the middle, but I want this to start off high and end at a high. We're like a 10th of the way through the video. It'll be okay. But, yeah. Anyways, sketching this comic, I include a lot of little Easter eggs. Like, for instance, this is Folly. This is basically a sequel to Folly, and at the same time, this is a sequel to the number 47. I'll get more into these comics later, but number 47 or number 48. Insult, and number 49, Friend. This is like, you know, the continuation off of those two. I try to make it show, this is my interpretation of my own comic. I wanted to show that I was growing up. I was no longer being, you know, depressed. I was growing from being somewhat toxic, I guess. Because I've been a decently toxic person. I would, like, kind of rope people into me and try to, like, force them into my life. And that's not okay. That's awful. And I understand where it comes from. It comes from, you know, like, you know, issues with my parents. I'm not going to go into depth, but with my dad somewhat not being there for, like, a third of my life. My mom, her own anxiety affected me a lot. And then knowing that there's, like, a whole war zone between them, which I'll get into a bit later. Because one of the comics is about that. And, you know, obviously the death with Jessica, that... Obviously, you know, losing someone, your best friend, that's gonna make you try to, like, fill that void and just, like, tear through anyone who, like, could maybe fill it. You attach to them. And, well, I was gonna start talking about comics first before the Q&A, so let's talk about that. Number 44, Poison. This directly references the toxicity that this comic talks about, that my number 50 talks about me growing from. That and just growing up in general. So this shows, you know, the initial part of it, Jessica's death, then Jossie. I don't know how many of you remember Jossie. Jossie was a really close friend of mine. In fact, if it weren't for her 7th grade, I might not be here after 7th grade. She was a great friend of mine. I hope to talk to her again sometime. I completely understand why we kind of, like, just fell off, why she, like, walked away. I was being an asshole, because I was very much in an edgy atheist phase. Like, I'm still an atheist, but I feel like when people convert to, quote-unquote convert, I feel like deconversion to atheism, you kind of become an asshole about religion for a while. You know, and everyone, most people go through that. I think the truly, like, mature people, they grow out of that and realize that religion in itself, it's a coping mechanism. My dad talked to me once about how he was talking to a guy whose wife was dying, and he said, you know, if my wife dies, then I will thank God so much for all the time. If God takes her away, I will still thank God for the time I had with her. And, you know, on the surface, that's like, are you fucking idiot? Why are you happy that God took her away from you? But take the God out of that. If she dies, I'll still be grateful for the time I spent with her. God is just a coping mechanism. At least that's my view of it. I'm not religious in any sense, but... So, from that idea, I kind of realized that God is a coping mechanism. And there are plenty of, like, religious people who are cool, and they don't use the negative parts of religion. They just, like, again, use it as, like, a way of to take the good things of it. My problem with religion is the way it can be controlling of a life and how it can lead to hurt and pain. Because no one can deny that religion has caused a lot of pain in the world. Just as much, if not arguably as much good as it's caused. But, anyways, arguing about that stuff and Donald Trump, which... Ugh, Donald Trump. Not a good president, but... My least favorite comic is the Trump comic. For a reason. Just because it has nothing to say. But I'll get into that. I'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, and that's what made Jossie leave. I've talked about this before. It's my fault, for the most part. And honestly, we're from such two completely different worlds that it's not a surprise. And here, I just had B here to kind of show me attaching myself to people and them not being able to let go no matter how hard they try. This was going to be the end of the Jessica ghost, by the way, showing that this kind of hinting at the idea that this was just a figment of my imagination, the Jessica ghost. Thinking about it now, though, well, one of the reasons I decided this to be the ending of just the Jessica ghost was I didn't realize how disrespectful that is to, just kind of include your dead friend as, like, a ghost in your comic. I understand. It was a coping mechanism. I was 16, blah, blah, blah. Or 15, almost 16. But that's still, like, really disrespectful. It got to the point where I only think this happened once where I made up a story about Jessica that she was a fan of One Piece. That's bullshit, and I apologize. That's just not okay. I don't know if Jessica was ever a fan of One Piece. I know she did, actually. I think she watched the 4Kids dub, like, once. I don't know anything else about that. I don't think she was an actual fan, but I did lie about that. I am sorry. I will change the description about that on the videos if on the comics if I remember to. But yeah, so this comic was just to show, yeah, I'm aware of my flaws, and when I was working on this comic, some shit went down, which I'll get into in a later point. But oh my god, making this comic couldn't have happened at a more Jesus Christ time. But yeah, let's move on. Number 45, Warzone. This is the parent comic. My parents have been at war for all of my life. They were never married. They were basically on and off for a year, and this is the culmination of that. I kind of just showed all the stupid bullshit they would talk to me. I never really wanted to include my parents in a comic, but I realized, fuck it. I don't know why I really just decided, this is the time. This is the time. I'm doing it now. You can tell my comics have been getting really dark at the last part. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I know they would do a lot of shitty things to each other behind the scenes. I don't know all of them. I only know a few from the angry outbursts they would have about each other. I love both my parents. They're both heavily flawed people. They also have a lot of great qualities about them. Both have left a lot of hurt in me, but both have also taught me some good life lessons, whether intentionally or unintentionally. But yeah, there's not too much to say about this one. It's just parental war zone. It kind of got worse when I was 12, and actually no, the worst part of it was like right before I turned 11. They would like, my dad was allowed in my house, so they would just argue about shit before my dad left. It got so bad that my dad would no longer be allowed in my house, not by like a restraining order or anything, he just wasn't, because my mom felt better that way. And my dad just obliged, because like, what's he gonna do? Not. But yeah, that was that. And 8 years now, I still think this got a bit out of 7 years now. I still think this got a bit out of hand, but it's fine. Number 46, 18th birthday. It's my 18th birthday on this comic. There's nothing else to say about this. I just like making birthday comics. There was that one I made about like the, what do you want, a cookie? That's still the best birthday comic, but I decided to still just make something for it. Unfortunately though, this is the only comic during this September. I'm sorry. During the fall, I was so busy with college applications. I was swamped. It was a nightmare. But, you know, it's fine. I got into a college. Not all the college applications are back yet. I don't know which colleges I've gotten into besides one. So I'm definitely going to college next year. I'm not going to say what the college is, just in case I choose not to go to that college, and then it'll look kind of stupid. So, anyways, moving on. I'm very caffeinated, if you can't tell. Number 47, Scars. I gained a huge obsession with Batman over the summer. During my time at the Rhode Island School of Design, I was there for 6 weeks as basically a college student, along with a bunch of other people my age. I made a lot of great friends there. It was such a great experience. I loved it. It was extremely tiring, and by the end of the 6 weeks, I was like, dude, I'm getting sick of this shit. But I really miss the people I had there, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded doing that for 4 years, no matter how stressful it was. But yeah, I gained an obsession with Batman, because while working on art projects, I would just listen to people reading Batman comics. And then I watched The Dark Knight. And then I gained an obsession with Heath Ledger. Oh my god, Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. I know the movie's 12 years old, I don't care. Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight is like the best thing ever, and then I gained an obsession with that. And honestly, I don't blame myself. But yeah, so I just made this comic. I had B in there. I missed opportunity. I should have given B like a Batman costume. That's my fault. But I actually did dress up as the Joker for Halloween, as you can see here. Doesn't look great, but hey, Heath Ledger didn't look great, and that was kind of the point. So there you go. This is actually arguably my best looking comic, despite it being rushed. By the way, most of my comics, they're always rushed. This comic, though, number 50, it was not rushed. In fact, this comic, by the way, number 50, it took 10 hours and 30 minutes to make. But weirdly enough, it was not painful. And hell, you could even add like 3 hours for all the times I would accidentally like record something and it accidentally like not record me doing work and me having to redo it, and also doing the sketch, which I didn't record. By the way, recording this comic was kind of a mess because there were several parts where I kind of realized, oh fuck, I didn't record that part, or oh shit. And there was a certain part near the end where I was doing a glowy effect for the, again, number 50 is the one we're talking about, the one you're seeing right now. I did a glowy effect at the end, and I had no idea what to do, so I saved that to the very ending, and I experimented off camera, and then I kind of like redid it on camera. It didn't look good, but who cares? I kind of got it to work. I couldn't find any way to do the glowy effect that I wanted to do, though. I looked all around the internet, no luck, for specifically what I wanted. And then I did what I always do whenever I have a problem. I went to B. And then B does what she always does whenever I have a problem. She just solves it. I don't know how she does it. She's a miracle worker. But, yeah, just like, make a new layer for the coloring, and then just use like a brush tool on the layer, and it'll probably work. And guess what? It probably worked. So thank you so much, B. It probably worked. You can, when the comic's done, you can see what I did, and you can decide for yourself whether it probably worked or not. But yeah, number 47, Scars, if you forgot that, before that little tangent. Probably my best looking comic. I just really like the coloring in this one. There's not much else to say about it. Yeah, there's still that missed opportunity with B's face. But other than that, it looks good. Okay. I also, again, by the way, during fall, especially that month, I could barely work on anything because I was so busy with the portfolio for college and, the applications. I applied to like 20 schools, and I'm blaming my mom on this one because she is an English professor, and so 20 schools is a lot, by the way. Nobody applies to 20 schools. That's insane. My mom's an English professor, though, and she's all about school. That's like her favorite thing because she works at a school. University counts as a school, University of Minnesota. But yeah, so then she was very freaking out about all these colleges. So yeah, I applied to 20, and then she herself applied to 2 more colleges behind my back. She is insane. I love her, but she says as crazy. Number 48, Insult. Okay. This you can tell I'm unhappy. This is the Jesus Christ comic. Okay, so I said when talking about the number 44 Poison comic that while I was working on that comic, some shit went down. This was the shit that went down. This was not at RISD. This was some artist friends over Discord that I've known for years now. Everything went to shit. It was a girl. She made art. Let me just say, this girl who made the art, she is a wonderful artist. In fact, digitally art, at least in terms of digital art, she is way better than me. I haven't seen enough of her traditional art to compare mine to hers, but I really shouldn't say better or worse, because art, there's no such thing as better or worse in art. That's just bullshit. Art is all what you make of it. It's all what you get out of it. Comparing art in terms of better or worse is not how you do art. But I will say, almost objectively, she's a better digital artist than me, because I am a terrible digital artist Why do you think I use such a simplistic style for my comics? It's because I don't like using digital art. But yeah, the thing is that whenever she posted art on the servers, people would love it. They would eat that shit up. I was incredibly jealous, because whenever I posted art, people would nitpick it to hell and back. It got me very insecure about posting art there, you know, around a bunch of artist people. But it was fine. I guess they liked her art, whatever. They didn't like mine, made me insecure. The point is, I would give a bunch of suggestions because no one else would for her, yet people would do it for mine. I was like, you know what? Fuck them. If they're not gonna do it for her, then I'll do it. That's not a good mindset, and I apologize. But yeah, and I kept making suggestions for dumb little sketches she did. And then this other person, they said nobody cares. And here's the thing, this was a combination. I guess I was just tired. I don't know. It was during when I was at RISD, so like I was probably tired from working a lot. Staying up at like 1 a.m., getting up at 7 a.m. every day. But I just had this emotion in me, and I let the temper get the best of me. This was a combination of them being really aggressive towards me. The person who I insulted, not the artist. But their aggression came from me being very annoying. So, like a culmination of that. So really, it was just a culmination of two stupid things happening. So I insulted them. Then they blocked me. I got kicked out of the Discord. It was a secondary Discord to like the main one though, so it was okay. But it still like felt really shitty. I tried to apologize. Then I was sent 8 paragraphs of everything wrong with me, why I'm a horrible person, and I got an anxiety attack. It was 1 a.m., I was at RISD, I didn't have a roommate or anything, which thank God I didn't have a roommate. I didn't want anyone who I wasn't gonna see very soon to see me like that. But, yeah, Jesus Christ. I was alone in a room, and for like 4 hours or so, it was just heavy breathing, heavy anxiety. I didn't know who was my friend or who was my enemy. B was asleep. I couldn't talk to B. B was friends with these people too. I couldn't talk to B. I talked to some people. My dad was supportive. My mom was in a different country at this point, so I couldn't call her. My dad was supportive. He was there for me. Sean, you guys know Sean, one of my oldest friends, one of my closest friends. He was there for me. He just like talked me through the whole thing. Some friends, other friends did, but Sean was probably the main one. And also David, or Astro, the sick man. He was the one who kicked me out of the server, so thanks for that. He was very trigger happy with me on that server. But it's fine. He was mad at me, but he did try to like sort it through. And it was fine. I still will be thankful for him too. But yeah, that was all these insults. These are mostly real quotes. They're slightly taken loosening to make them make more sense out of context for like if you knew the people in the server. But yeah, most of the things they said about me were true. But now I realize how fucking stupid this shit was. Just completely dumb. All of this was going way too far. This was just two immature people being immature, but I guess it was a wake-up call because from that moment, I grew a lot as a person. I became a good person. I don't think I'm a good person. I shouldn't say that. I think I am not a bad person, though. And that's kind of the best you can hope for. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes still. I've made some mistakes after that. I've gotten into some fights with some friends. But I've definitely improved a lot of that person. So I guess I could go to them and say, thank you for giving me an anxiety attack. That may have been the worst 4 hours of my life, but those 4 hours led to a better person. I don't know if I would forgive them, necessarily, but I really liked talking to them, and I still think they were a really cool person. So maybe. The best part, though, I invited them back to the server, and then it ended like this. Because they were on the server for a little bit, then they left. Then I was the one who invited them back because I liked them so much. Look how that fucking ended! Oh well. Yeah, and then by the last panel, I was kind of setting up for the idea that I would grow from this experience. Because I did. Because this happened during the summer, even though I made the comic in November. I grew from this. And obviously, I tried to do my best to make these people anonymous as possible. Neither of these people... Actually, I think the artist might have appeared in one of my comics in, like, the very background. But that's completely it. Yeah, I did my best to hide who these people were, and I think I did well. But I was setting up kind of for the finale, at least number 50, in the last panel. I didn't know it was going to be number 50. I just knew that it was going to be this. It was going to be the comic that, you know, you're seeing now. I didn't know it was going to be the ending comic. But I did know I was going to use this comic as an example of taking this, lifting myself up, and growing from it. Because that's what happened in real life. And I've grown as a person. I'm not necessarily... I don't know if I'm not toxic anymore necessarily, but I'm better. So yeah, and after that, on a lighter note, bonus number 2, college applications. Bonus comic number 1 doesn't matter. It was a dumb Jaden Animations comic back when I was a fan of those people for like a few months. To be fair, they're the reason I started making the comics, but like, I don't care about their videos. I didn't care about their videos like a few months after making those comics. After starting making my own comics. Because I just kind of got bored of them. But they're probably still cool people. I don't know. I have... The Odd Ones Out follows me on Tumblr. I don't know if he still does. I don't even know if he uses Tumblr. Because I stopped caring about them. I hope they're doing well. But, you know, whatever. Anyways. Bonus number 2. I did this exclusively because this was the peak point of me making my comics. Making the college applications. So I decided to make a comic about those. I didn't want it to be number 49, because that'd be a really shitty number, like, lead up to number 50. So I was like, bonus number 2. Still counts as a monthly comic, but I get to go out of calling it number 49. And I decided to cement it as that by not having a background. But, yeah, I barely had enough time to do this comic as it was. It took me, like, 2 or 3 days to do it. I started on, like, the 29th. Happy New Year's, folks. But yeah, I actually really liked this comic. It was only going to be like 2 people talking, but I kept having ideas of stupid insults for people to talk to me about, like, how come you don't draw noses? You haven't finished your college applications yet? Where the hell is your red hoodie? You know? Yeah, the red hoodie. I'm wearing one right now. That's how you know. But, you can't see it, but it's there. I wear a red hoodie every day, because comfortability and mourning the loss of the dead. But, sorry, uplifting. Let's keep this up, let's keep this up going, because we're doing number 49, Friend. This is an idea I've had for like over a year. I didn't know when I would use it, or if I would use it. It was not going to be this many people in it, but I was like, screw it. This many people in it, and it is still my most ambitious comic yet. Yes, including number 50, because even though number 50 had more panels, this one was a lot more painful to make. Yeah, I didn't know what I was going to, like, think about this one. I didn't know who was going to be in it. That was the hardest part, knowing who was going to be in it. There were some obvious staples, like B, you know, Colton, Morgan, Jag, yeah, like, the main people. Sean, obviously Sean. You gotta do Sean. I fucking love you, Sean. If you're watching this, you're my boy. We need to hang out sometime. We need to do that video that we were talking about. I'm not gonna say what it is, but we're gonna make a video of him reading a certain fan fiction, and it was going to be glorious. We would do like 25 chapters. We would do one episode per each chapter. Look forward to that in the future if we ever do it. But yeah, it was. I think I made the right choices. I realized the only girl in this comic is B, and they're more of a they than a she, according to Twitter. But even then, it's like, I realized that there are like only dudes in this comic, and I have friends who are girls, not as many as friends who are guys, because again, until this year, I would probably scare girls off because I'd be weird. That is my fault. That is completely my fault. But anyways, very tired. It's 11:30 and I have like 4 hours of editing this video afterwards. But anyways, with Morgan and all these people, I decided, yeah, let's talk about these people. Let's have them in here. These are the people who helped uplift me. This is why the void ends at the very end of this comic. By the way, Easter egg, pre-tendo swap. I needed to include that because I talked about that. I also, for the art that B and David are making, I included little projects they are working on. Astro the Stickman in a little game B is working on. I don't know if B's ever going to finish the game, but that's fine. It's still fun. So now, here we are. Number 50. This comic right here. I would say also, there are some issues with this comic. I think it ends on a very strong note. It's very much non-conclusive. It's very much like you make your own ideas of it. Again, to me, it's like growing up and going on the way of the past. This is a reference to multiple comics, actually. The main one being Folly. Again, that one never really had any meaning to it. It was just an idea I had that people really liked. But then, I decided to retroactively give it meaning. Because that's how unintentional foreshadowing works. I'm happy about that. But yeah, this is the comic. Here's the thing, if I could include one more thing in this comic, it would be, like 2 or 3 panels of me falling down off of the rope, then me while climbing, me slipping, falling off the rope, me re-grabbing it and continuing to climb. To represent that, like, you know, just because I'm climbing the rope doesn't, like, to either grow up or whatever interpretation you have. Obviously, it's an uplifting message, but that it's not going to be easy. There's still going to be times where I fail and then lose progress, but I will get back up and climb them again. I guess I didn't include that. This is already 12 panels. Usually my big comics would be 8 panels, so yeah. 12 panels if you include like the double panels is 2. But yeah, this is it. I include a lot of themes of the past in one panel. That's probably that, or either the second panel is my favorite panel, and I definitely think the second panel was the one to end work on. That was the final one I worked on, and I think it was a good panel to go out on, the one with the glow. But yeah, the panel that you see now, actually, that I'm working on with shading. That is the themes of the past. And most of these are I mentioned in different previous comics, like the Warzone one between my parents, Jossie's Leave, Monster Bee in there, which I'm pretty sure I already told you this. B actually created that design for the Monster Bee. There's one more person in there, and that's where we get into 7th grade. Ooh, 7th grade! 30 minutes into this. Apparently this is going to be an hour-long video. Get yourself prepared, everyone. I'm gonna go through this really quickly. I don't want to... Again, I want this to start off positive, because I'm in a great place now. Life is good. Just everyone keep in mind, this state I was in, it was like 5 years ago. I'm not in this state anymore. I have been happy, I've been healthy, I've been off my antidepressants for 7 months now, and overall, I don't know if this has been the best year of my life, but it's certainly been one of the best. And I know that I'm going to continue to grow, and I've learned how to deal with my emotions better. Everything is good now. That being said, I knew some people were wondering what happened in 7th grade, because I hinted at it a lot in my comics, most notably in the 6th grade comic where I talked about how I really hurt my friend. By the way, in the last speed art, I told you guys that he forgave me. That I shouldn't have said forgave me. He said he didn't hate me anymore. I don't blame him for outright saying he forgave me or not. I'm not gonna ask him if it was a true forgiveness, because either way, I'm not sure if I deserve true forgiveness. And at the same time, I don't want to put words in my mouth. He doesn't hate me anymore. That doesn't mean forgiveness. Just in the same way how in 7th grade, I had a best friend, because I had 3 best friends. Jessica, the dude from 6th grade, and this guy. I don't know if I hate him anymore, but I also don't know if I can forgive him. Let's begin! During the summer, right before 7th grade, this was when I also created the idea, or we'll get into that later. The idea for what I want to do with my living. We'll get into that later. 7th grade started right beforehand with me finding out that my best friend started going out with a girl who I had basically been in love with since preschool. Not preschool, kindergarten. I know it's weird, because that's 13 years. That's like 7 years of me having a huge crush on someone. But that's just how it was, I guess. But he knew this. He knew this very well. He knew this better than most people, but he still went out with her. Because he was 12, turned 13. He was 12, because he was almost a year younger than me. In the same grade, though. He knew this, but he was 12, so he was an idiot. We were all idiots at that age. We were all just entering puberty, so our minds were all hormonal and stupid. We went out with her, and they hurt when I found out. It really hurt. I cried to him over Skype. Remember when people used Skype? It went to complete shit. And, you know, school started. I was clearly not in a good place. I would say a bunch of, like, I guess suicidal, self-hurty things. Remember, I'm in a great place now. So, just keep that in mind. Yeah, I would say a bunch of, like, bad things. I would get bullied because I would act out from being bad, feeling bad about myself and all that. And, you know, I got blamed for being bullied, because of course I did. The school I went to, private school, piece of shit school. It was great education, but if you had, like, a learning disability or something, they would just, like, treat you like garbage, essentially. They would blame you for acting out instead of what was going on in your life. Maybe you're being bullied! Anyways, got to the point where I would talk to the girl who I had crushed on, like, text, and I was very toxic, I was very rude, very, like, dependent. This wouldn't be the last time I did something like this. Usually not in terms of romance, but, like, yeah, to those people I have apologized to. I didn't get forgiveness, but I don't think I deserved forgiveness. But it's fine. Anyways, I talked to her, just say a bunch of things. Eventually got to the point where she would block me and, like, avoid me in any case. She didn't go to our school anymore at that point. But at the dance, she came. We had a middle school dance. She came to there. It ended with me punching the guy in the face. I got suspended. This led to the bullying getting worse. And during this time, I would spend the first class, instead of just going to Spanish, I would spend the class with the main principal. She would constantly threaten me to kick me out of school. She would, if I accidentally misheard her, there was a time where I misheard a direction she had. And because of that, she was like, oh, if you keep this up, you're leaving. There was a time where she said I had, like, a stupid voice, you know, all these things. It was terrifying being around her. I couldn't defend myself. I couldn't say anything. It was a lot. There was a time, the second dance, like, near the end of the school, they had broken up at this point. Everything, the beef was still there. The beef was still there. But, yeah. I remember I was sitting on the floor during the dance next to a friend. I was talking to him, and she picked me up, told me, if you're gonna just sit on the floor, you should probably just go home. I said, I was sitting right next to someone else. And then she said, I didn't see anyone. Look, there are benches. You sit on the floor, I might have to send you to go home. And I said, okay, I apologize. And then I said, I feel personally like you're being a little too hard on me. And, like, I was very scared to say this, but I needed to say it because I feel like if you're, like, gonna threaten to kick someone out, send them home, for sitting on the floor, not even in the middle of the floor, at like leaning against a wall out of everyone's way, talking to a friend. I think that's being a little too hard on someone. But then I said that, and she was like, alright, that's it. You're going home now. And it got to the point where I was in tears. I was begging her to stay. And that led me to stay, but holy shit, I was 13! You can't do that! Okay, sorry for ranting again. But anyways, the dude, he would steal my seat at the lunch table, all these crappy things. It led to some suicidal thoughts and 3 attempts. 8th grade, after the year after, I actually wrote a full note and sent it to people. It didn't end in me doing anything, luckily. I didn't go through with it. And remember this, to all of you. Everything is a moment in time. If life is bad for you now, it won't be eventually. Things change. Everything changes. If you're feeling bad today, tomorrow things will probably be different. I am in one of the best places in my life, and I am so grateful every day I didn't go through with hurting myself or anything. And now I've made enough promises to know that I could never and will never do that. So to everyone struggling out there, please remember that it's going to get better, and I know that's some generic ass advice, but it's generic for a reason, because it's true. Sorry for making this all emotional and personal, but hey, this is a good comic about it, because it's about uplifting, and I've lifted, and I grew. Anyways, okay, usually I do questions first, and the comic review second, but I'm flipping it around. By the way, this was gonna go on for like 40 minutes, but apparently this is gonna go on for over an hour, but that's fine. This is gonna go on for like an hour and a half, probably a bit less. That's okay. Do you know why? Because this is the last comic. This is the last speed art. And I think that's fine if I go out like this. Anyway, it's 10 hours of footage. It's fine. It's sped up incredibly already. Again, and you could add 3 hours for the sketches and all the times I would do things off camera, like learning how to do the shading and whatnot. Anyways, or the light. Anyways, let's get into questions. Finally, the Q&A. Let's bring this back up, boys. So the first question, this is from Discord, is Janato. Great YouTuber, great guy. His name's Josh. I love him. He's a good friend. He said, how many questions did you get? And including this question, 12. That is more than any other questionnaire I've gotten. So thank you guys. It's fun answering questions, because usually they're stupid. It's fun answering stupid shit. Stupid is like my favorite form of comedy. It's like stupid and intelligent, nothing in between. Mean-spirited, I don't like mean-spirited comedy. Unless if it's like very sarcastic, because sarcasm's fun. But anyways, the first question, Twitter, Colton Rubel asked. By the way, Colton, one of my best friends. I love Colton. He's a great guy. And, yeah, that's it. Just Colton's fun. I love him. How did you know this would be the finale? Did you know how you wanted it to end for a while? And the answer, as I've already established, no. When I made it, I realized, oh shit, this is how it has to end. I didn't have any real plans beforehand how I was going to end it. I knew I was going to end it probably around the 4th anniversary, like right after I finished high school, because I got a couple months before I graduate. And I realized, I was thinking about sending myself off to college. I wanted to show growth of myself as a human, but I didn't know how to do that. And when I realized when I made this comic, this is it. This is how I do that. But yeah, next question, Discord, Chase Kaseki. Chase, another good friend of mine. I love Chase. He's a very funny man. He's stupid funny. He is the one guy who I think works for mean-spirited comedy. Because usually I hate it, but he's just so funny that, like, it works out. How much could I pay you to draw my persona in your art style is his question. Okay, so. Serious answer for this shit. I don't know if I'm ever going to do commissions. But, if I was, it depends on the art style. Is it the comic art style? Is it the manga art style? Because I do manga. is it for the manga, is it a sketch or a pen and ink? For the comic, is it just a sketch? Is there going to be line art? Is there coloring and shading? You know, it all depends. So the answer is, give me what you want and why you want it. I'll name a price. We'll do this shit. But I swear to God, my first commission is a Persona. You know I made it in life. Alright, second question, the Game Dog, also a great guy. I love this man. I say that about everyone. Colton's my favorite. Just to make, because here's the thing, out of everyone on this list, he would be the most uncomfortable by me saying his praises. So let me tell you, Colton is in my top 5 friends. And yes, I'm saying all of this to make him uncomfortable, but it is true. Yeah, so Game Dog. Do you believe robots will one day have rights? Fuck them robos, bro! Okay. In seriousness, so to our future robot overlords, just know the fuck them robos comment was a joke. A human error, as we call it. Because us humans are inferior to you. Please don't hurt me or anyone I love, either physically or emotionally. Robot Allah is great. Amen. A bot. Jesus Christ. Magtac. Swamp Creature of Doom. Same person. What is the best music genre and why? Sonic music. Why? Because it's the best music. What other music is better? You're wrong. Whatever you're thinking or saying or typing in the comments, you're wrong. Sonic music is the best music. Unless if you said Sonic music is the best music, in which case you would be correct. Okay, and again, in seriousness, I have an obsession with Ninja Sex Party. They are my favorite band, so I guess whatever they do, like, which is a multitude of things. Thing is that for music genres, I like multiple. I don't really have a favorite. The only one I don't like is opera. Fuck opera. If you like it, that is great. I don't like it. There's something about it. I feel all tense and, like, unhappy, I guess. Classical music is fine. I see the appeal more than opera. For opera, I just don't quite see the appeal, besides the fact that that's pretty impressive they can do that shit with their voice, but yeah, but most music I like. I like hip-hop a lot. Big Proof, he's my favorite rapper. He's God, I was obsessed with him for a while. Honestly, I think Ninja Sex Party's taken the point of, like, my favorite band / musician ever. Dan Avedon is one of my 3 great heroes, along with Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, and Shin Koizan, which, by the way, Shin Koizan I actually met, which is friggin' awesome, because, you know, he's one of my heroes. He arguably was one of the bigger influences that helped me through 7th grade, and especially 9th grade, because 9th grade I just came from all the bullying in middle school, and I didn't know what to do with myself, and Shane's poems helped me get through. He's an amazing spoken word poet. I recommend you listen to his stuff. Don't start with To This Day. To This Day is his most popular, and while I think it's a good poem, I also think it's really overrated, and it's not very similar to his other, you know, pieces. Yeah, he's amazing. I listen to him all the time. But yeah, in terms of music, it's a mix, I guess. They're not genres, but whatever Ninja Sex Party does, it's a bunch of things. So pop, rock, and hip-hop for Big Proof. I'm so sad about Proof's death, even though it was over 10 years ago, and it was way before I found out about him. I'm so sad he's overshadowed by Eminem, because Eminem's a great rapper. He is, like, probably tied with Tupac for my second. He is a phenomenal rapper. I don't care what people say about his new albums. His new albums are still good. Even Relapse, like, not Relapse, even, which one? Revival. People shit on Revival all the time. But the last 2 songs in Revival, Castle and the Rose, are some of the best hip-hop songs I've ever heard. Especially if you listen to them together. I fucking love those songs. Anyways. And Tupac, he's a philosopher. That's all you can really say. But Proof, I just love because he takes the strengths of both, and he just seems like a great guy, and he was always about uplifting people. That's why he never shined in on, like, Shady Records or Interscope. He instead tried to make his own record label, Iron Fist. And honest to God, if he wasn't shot, like, a year after it was made, I think it would have been big. I think it would have been huge. He had a lot of talent. He himself was very talented. I love Proof, and arguably my favorite song is, shit, it's his song. How do I not remember my favorite song? I'm sorry, everyone. It is called Kurt Cobain. It is basically a bittersweet suicide note, and it is so poetic. It is beautiful. Next question. M. Shrewsbury, am I your friend? M? Yeah, what kind of question is that? Of course you are. You are a person I see and I enjoy your company. By definition, you are my friend. I care about your well-being. I hope you're doing well. Alright, Diana Gatino, Diana, they're a friend from RISD. I definitely pronounced their last name wrong. Hey, I don't even remember is it Diana or Deanna. It's like midnight now. It's not your fault. Anyways, friend from RISD, she's a really great person. She was one of my best friends there, at least in terms of class. And she asks, "How are you coping with applications and graduation and shit?" I'm already freaked out. And I'm still a junior. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, let me tell you. I did a lot of applications. The fact that you're freaking out now is good. Start working on the applications and stuff now, if you haven't already started, because the more time you'll work, the better chances you have. I am, right now, since I already did the applications and stuff, I'm doing okay. Bit stressed, but, you know, it's fine. I'm very scared, anxious. I'm both excited and anxious to graduate, though, because I've been doing school for 12 and a half years, or I guess like 12 and 2/3 of a year now. If you include kindergarten. And the fact that I'm going to be graduating, that is something like for the vast majority of my life, that's scary. That's terrifying. But, you know, you gotta do it. You need to do it. You need to grow up. You need to become an adult now. So yeah, that's it. By the way, sorry if the mic sounds like I'm coming in and out of different volumes. This is a new mic. I don't know how it works that well. I probably should have used my old mic for the recording just to be safe, but nah, it's fine. But yeah, it's a bit scary to know that I'm gonna be on my own really soon. My mom, she's a single mom, and I'm her only kid, so this is even worse for her. But, she's brave, and I'm proud of her. For, like, being like, she's gonna be okay. She assures me every day, and I believe her. She's the strongest person I know. Alright, next is from Sean. You guys know Sean. He's my bestest boy. I love Sean. I've already talked about how much I love Sean. Helped me with the anxiety attack, one of my oldest friends. Really close, basically family. Good old Sean Snottenberg, or as he calls himself, Snottenberg, because he's that cool. Why did you make it look like I'm balding in your last comic? I'm only 20 and have great hair genes. Okay, Sean. So what you need to know is that I was working with this photo. And to be fair, I totally get where you're coming from on this. It was a complete accident. And by the time I realized this too, while I was working on it, by the time I realized, I was like, Sean's not gonna notice. He's not gonna care. Apparently he noticed and cares. I'm sorry, Sean. It was too late to change it, and I was like, fuck, this is bad. I thought Sean wouldn't notice or care. He noticed, again, he noticed and cared. So why did I do it? It was a complete accident. I'm sorry, Sean. God, because for making character design in my comic, for when I put a friend in there, I am very meticulous. I will ask them about what fucking hat, shirts, shoes, pants, all the things they wear. I'll try to get their body type right. This is why in that comic too, a good friend of mine named Sam, I fucked up his coat. And then I felt really bad about it. It's the right color, but he doesn't have the floof. It's more just like a trench coat. And I screwed that up. And I felt really bad. Yeah, I told him about it. And he was like, "It's fine." And then he realized when the actual comic came out, he was like, "Oh, he did fuck that up. Great." But yeah. So I try to be meticulous about these things. But Sean, your hair, look, man, pull it off. You can do it. You're pulling it off in the comic. You're gonna pull it off in real life. When you go bald, even though, according to you, you have quote-unquote great hair genes. Fucking, I love you, Sean. Okay, most of these are on Instagram, by the way, starting with Deanna, it started on Instagram, but, Prevent the Toast, I actually don't know this person, says, what's 2 plus 7? So the answer to that is 12. 2 plus 7? That's 12. Morgan. What is your favorite food? By the way, Morgan, one of my best friends. Morgan, in the number 49 friend comic, he's the one who asks, "Yo, you good, bro?" Because he always asks, "Am I good, bro?" And he was one of my first friends in high school, along with Jack, he did not ask a question, but he's right next to Morgan in the 49 comic. They were my first two friends, and Morgan was arguably the one who saved my life and was the reason I got out of this depressive slump, and grew as a person. So he asks, what is your favorite food? And that is, obviously, tonkotsu ramen. Though, I would also accept pizza in that answer. I love tonkotsu ramen, but I don't have it very often. There's a restaurant in downtown Minneapolis called Zenbox, and I always go there for their tonkotsu ramen. That's my favorite food ever. I love it so much. But yeah, tonkotsu ramen is my favorite. Pizza is a close second. You could argue pizza is my first, though, because it is by far the food I eat the most. Like, I ate pizza today. That's how much I like it. There's pizza in my digesting belly right now. It's mostly stomach acid by now. But, you know, it's still in there. I have pizza belly right now. You could also put tacos up there. Tacos I like just as much as pizza. In fact, I'm going to say tacos are better than pizza. The thing is that I kind of like pizza more. But I do think tacos are objectively better. You know how you have those things where, like, you have a preference to one thing even though you know the other is objectively better? Like, I always bring up Sonic. In terms of 3D Sonic and 3D Mario, 3D Mario is objectively better, but I like 3D Sonic more. 3D Mario, the only, like, mixed bag game there is Sunshine. Just because for 100%ing it, holy shit, that game. But, you know, with Sonic, it's a lot more inconsistent. 3D Sonic, the main series has had 2 bad games, in my opinion, and 2 mixed ones. The bad games being obviously Forces, fuck Forces. The Forces of the game that lost all the faith from the Sonic community. I swear to God, that game was like the last straw. But Lost World and Heroes are not bad games at all, but they each have their own little problems. Like Heroes has such a perfect base, but the issue is that it needed more time to like cook, you know? It feels a bit half-baked, and I feel like if they worked on it more, it would have been one of the all-time greats, at least in terms of 3D Sonic. Lost World is a good game, it's just not a Sonic game, if that makes sense. Like, it's very experimental, and it feels like if it was his own 3D platformer, it would have been better received. Sonic has a run button in it, which is so anti-Sonic, because Sonic was all about momentum. But okay, that's fine. Run button, whatever. It's not a bad game. It's a fun game. It's just not a Sonic game, you know? Anyways, sorry for the rant. Fair food, pizza, not pizza, ramen, then pizza, then tacos, though tacos are better than pizza. Okay, now we got Jelly. Jelly is another friend from RISD. Hi Jelly, hope you're doing well. What is your next project? Alright, first off, there's one more question from a friend named Jack, also from RISD. Jack was someone who was in my dorm, Jack was an awesome guy. He was just like a chill dude. He was someone I would hang out with all the time. He was always fun to talk to. When we would go into like the basement laundry room to work on projects and things, he would like play Minecraft parody songs and we would dance to them and sing to them. Jack was just such a fun dude to talk to, and I really hope I see Jack again. But anyways, he asked, will you ever... I don't remember who he was referencing. Jack has the one question I forgot to write down. I'm sorry, Jack. But he asks, will you go act like this certain cartoonist and reuse... Will you act like this certain cartoon... Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the question while I'm speaking it. Will you act like a certain cartoonist and reuse certain clips? Here, I have the actual question. Sorry for the delay. Would you ever do what Tim Buckley does and draw your characters in a certain set of poses and just reuse them to make the comics faster? I have never reused a pose in any of my comics ever, or at least like an image. What I have done though is reuse backgrounds. Very rarely. I've only done it like once or twice. Usually if it's a comic and it's in the same location, I will just redraw the background because I like that more. Only when I really have to rush a comic out will I reuse the background. There are obviously times, like, if it's in the same comic and it's in the same location, yeah, I'm gonna reuse the background. There's no reason not to. But, yeah, other than that, I'm not gonna reuse I don't reuse characters, and very rarely backgrounds. Alright, now, from Jelly. What's your next project? Honest to God, part of me isn't too sure. I think I'm gonna go back to scratch, actually. Just for a bit, just until my 10th anniversary there. Because I feel like I have some ideas for Zevo the Stickman. Zevo the Stickman's always gonna be like my mascot character, if that makes sense. And I want to make some more little animations with him. They're not gonna be like well animated, but I hope they have some good jokes in there. I just want to make a few, like 4 or 5, before I ended at the 10th anniversary, which will be in a year and a half. I have a planning for the ending, and what I might do is finish the ending first, so then I can upload that when I need to, and then do the other stuff after. But yeah, there's also a very long-term goal, which I'll get into for the last question. Haikyuu, what are your plans for the future? Haikyuu, this is on DeviantArt, by the way. Haikyuu, one of my only, like, sustaining fans. Thank you for the support. Holy shit, you are always there. I appreciate that a lot, actually. It's always fun to talk to you, read your comments, see what you're saying. Thank you, Haikyuu. Is it pronounced Haikyuu, by the way? I'm dyslexic. I say I'm dyslexic all the time, because I am dyslexic, and I have ADHD. No wonder I'm mediocre in school. I can talk too, by the way. No wonder I am amazing at school assignments. I don't read the books, yet somehow I can do the essays just fine without reading them. The books that the essays are about. But yeah, so it's H-I-Q-Q. So like, is that like haiku? Haiku? I'm just gonna say it's haiku, but I might be wrong. What are your plans for the future? Also, congrats on finishing high school. I got like 3 months, 2 months, 2.5. I don't know. It's May, so yeah, 2 months. 2. I'll say 3 months. Fuck it. Thank you for congratulating me. Though, plans for the future though. I've talked about this for a while, ever since I was 12, almost 13, right before 7th grade, right before all that shit went down. I came up with an idea of a manga I wanted to create. I've always wanted to make a comic series for my life. There are always these different ideas, like one of them was about dragons, and like the world was going to be kind of like Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I never really played too much of that game, but I had the game and I played the beginning of it a lot, where you're like on the actual floating island, and that would be reused, because the main manga I want to work on that I had in my head since I was 12 is about bandits who, they steal stuff. They're thieves, notorious thieves. But their world differs from our world, where our world islands and stuff, they're like land. That's in the ocean. These guys in this world, land and islands, they're in the sky. So instead of like, you know, using a boat to get around, they're using planes. And like, not necessarily just planes, but like airships. You know, you could liken it, this isn't completely coincidental. They're just kind of similar to my idea. You could liken it to like the game Skies of Arcadia, where they use like airships. It's not gonna be very piratey. I realized though, I had this idea about an adventure series. And then I read One Piece, and I realized everything I wanted to do, Eiichiro Oda already accomplished. And that's great, this is one of the reasons he's my hero. But like, God, One Piece is so good, and I'm here just like, oh, all of the good ideas that I wanted to do were already taken by Oda. Thanks! But it did help me refine ideas for my series more, so that's good. And you can't really do anything original in shonen anymore, apparently, so that's nice. And I know it's weird for an American to be wishing to make a manga for a living, but you know what? Reality is whack, dreams are for real. Yeah. That's my plan. Here's some sketches, just some random ones that I made of the main characters, some side characters, all that. They're either, usually right now I'm just testing out with like posing and things. I've been working on proportioning as of late, but yeah, the series, this has been my dream. It's gonna deal with a lot more hardship than One Piece necessarily. Think of it like this. I compare to One Piece a lot. The main reason being is because they're both like the thing I want to create, which the project name is called Runaway. That's the project name, at least. I don't know if that'll be the final name, but the reason I have to compare it to One Piece so much is that there's not another really series like what I want to do besides One Piece. So, again, thanks, Oda. You stole my idea, except you started it before I was born by like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, the way it differs is that One Piece is a story about dreams in a world of adventure. My story, Runaway, is going to be a story about adventure in a world of dreams, if that makes sense. I want to create landscapes that people have never seen before, completely imaginary, creatures that are unfathomable, you know, plot threads. I've already done a lot of world research, like, I'm not going to say too much about ideas. I don't have a lot down, I just kind of have ideas for the first 2 arcs. The second arc I have almost completely, like, a solid grasp on. The first arc I need to rework heavily, but I will say the first arc is, like, a mythical environment. It's somewhat based off of, like, ancient Egypt during its golden age, but in, like a palm tree forest instead of a desert. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Egypt, like, when it was ancient, it wasn't like a desert. People weren't living in a desert. They were living in, like, a luscious forest place, and then, like, you know, the climate shifted. But I think that's true. I'm not too sure. Anyways, but that's not what the point is. I just wanted to draw, like, a unique environment, and I thought that would be a cool way to combine, like, 2 very opposite things. A tropical palm tree place in, with architecture that's similarly known as, like, desert architecture. And, like, the people there are all, like, based on Egyptian gods and all that. It's cool. I did my research. It's cool. But, yeah, I've already created a lot of great characters for it. There's several great ideas. Here's some art. Some of these are outdated, by the way. I'll just say that which ones are outdated. But, yeah, this is what I want to do. This has been a passion of mine for years now. And I don't have enough done on it. I don't have enough as much as I want, like, figured out. I know what the very last panel will be, but that will be, because it's gonna be a really long-running series, hopefully. I need to get the world figured out. I need to get the shape of the world figured out, and I need to know what, like, the great powers are in the world. Like, the different, like, okay, in Naruto, the different Kage, in Hunter x Hunter, like, the different factions of hunters, you know, like the Deadly Six or whatever they're called. That's not the Deadly Six. The one that Hisoka was a part of for a little while, like Machi and all those. Anyways, the Phantom Troop, that's what it's called. Anyways, or like with One Piece, the great powers of the Yonko, the world government, the Shichibukai, you know, those. Anyways, I've been studying Japanese. I've been doing a lot of things to try to get this passion through. Whether or not I'm going to succeed or not, I'm going to try either way. But I hope you guys follow me into the journey to the next step for that. It's going to be wild. But anyways, for this comic, this has been going on for an hour. I'm sorry. For this comic, though, this comic series has meant a lot to me. I know there are a lot of people who... I've said this multiple times. I know there are a lot of people who have been laughing at my comics, getting ironic enjoyment out of them, laughing at how bad they are. That's okay. That's fine. You're enjoying my comic, and I do believe... Even though it's weird for an artist to say this, I guess, I think the more important part about art is what you get out of it, rather than what you put into it. So if you're getting out laughs for it, that's fine. I'm happy for you. If you are getting out feelings like, feelings of growth or feelings of anything, if you're putting out if you're getting out the feelings I'm putting into them, then I'm even happier that I was able to affect you in a positive way. Everyone, thank you so much for all of this. This has been a lot. This has been crazy. It's weird though to think that this is it. This is the end. This is the last speed art. I might do some comics like in the future in college or whatever, just whenever I get an idea. But they're not going to be the same. It's not going to be monthly anymore. I don't even know if it's going to be yearly. This might be the last one forever. At the very least, it's the last one of the main King Zevon series. Is it? God, even I don't know how to pronounce it at this point. King Zevon? It was going to be Zevon, because Zevo the Stick Man. But everyone started pronouncing it Zevon, so I was like, alright, King Zevon it is. Yeah, I guess an analogy of how unfocused the naming is how unfocused the comic was. This started as like a Saturday morning cartoon, then it got really dark and depressing, then by the end, there's an uplift, and now, what you see is what you get. It's an uplift, taking all the bad things and leaving them behind me, because I'm growing up. And I hope you guys see me when I fully am an adult. I still don't personally believe 18 is truly an adult. At least considering talking to all the people I met. I know, legally, sure. I just don't think mentally any of us are there yet. At least, because here's the thing. Most people I talk to are adults, because I live with a single mother. And they're all like, 18's not an adult, you stupid idiot. You gotta be 25 or whatever, 30. I think, yeah, because I haven't lived much life. Who knows what's gonna happen? But either way, hopefully whatever happens, hopefully I'll be prepared for it. And in the future, I hope I can see you guys, see me grow. And I hope the people I'm following now, I hope I stay with you, remain being your friend. To everyone, thank you so much for this opportunity. These 3 years and 7 months have been the most important of my life. These are the ones that have made me grow up into a person. For all my faults, I'm happy about who I am now. And I'm so amazed that I can finally say that. So, for the last time, goodbye everyone. Again, thank you so much for everything. I'll see you some other time. Goodbye.